What if the reason you have struggled for so long is not because you were forgotten, but because you are being prepared? What if the closed doors, delayed opportunities, unexpected setbacks, and seasons of waiting were not evidence that your life was failing, but evidence that something greater was being developed inside you? Listen carefully. Asterisk, your blessing may be closer than you think, but you must become ready to carry what you have been praying for. Asterisk, there are moments in life when everything seems quiet. You pray, but nothing changes. You work, but the results seem small. You sacrifice, but nobody notices. You remain faithful while others appear to move ahead. And eventually, a dangerous question enters your mind. God, did you forget me? No. You may simply be standing in the preparation season. A seed does not look like a harvest when it is buried underground. It looks hidden. It looks forgotten. It looks like nothing is happening. But underneath the surface, transformation has already begun. That is how purpose often works. Before the visible blessing comes, there is usually invisible preparation. Before greater responsibility comes, there must be greater character. Before influence expands, discipline must deepen. Before resources increase, wisdom must develop. So do not measure your future by what you currently possess. You may look at your bank account and see limitation. God may be looking at your mind and seeing potential. You may look at your circumstances and see weakness. Heaven may be looking at your character and seeing capacity. The greatest danger is not being poor today. The greatest danger is receiving wealth before you have developed the wisdom to manage it. Money can amplify whatever already exists inside you. If you are irresponsible with little, more will not automatically make you responsible. If you are controlled by comparison with little, abundance may simply give comparison a larger stage. That is why preparation matters. You are not merely asking for money, you are asking for capacity. You are not merely asking for opportunity, you are asking for wisdom to recognize it. You are not merely asking for doors to open, you are asking for the courage, discipline, and integrity to walk through them. So stop saying, nothing is happening. Something may be happening right now that you cannot yet see. Your roots may be growing. Your thinking may be changing. Your discipline may be strengthening. Your vision may be expanding. And when the right opportunity arrives, you will understand why the preparation took so long. Do not despise this season. This season may be building the person capable of carrying your next one. Have you ever wondered why some people receive an opportunity and destroy it, while others receive the same opportunity and multiply it? The difference is rarely the opportunity itself. The difference is the person standing inside the opportunity. Asterisk, blessing without preparation can become a burden. Asterisk. That truth can change the way you see your waiting season. Imagine two people receiving the same amount of money. One immediately spends everything trying to impress people. The other studies, plans, invests, saves, gives, and builds something productive. The money was identical, but the results were completely different. Why? Because resources do not create character, they reveal character. This is why you must stop obsessing over the blessing and start developing the person who will carry it. Maybe you have been praying, God, make me rich. But perhaps the better prayer is, God, make me wise. Give me discipline. Give me patience. Give me understanding. Give me the ability to recognize opportunities. Give me the courage to say no when everybody else says yes. Give me the humility to learn. Give me the strength to work when nobody is applauding. Because wealth is not simply about having more money. True prosperity begins with having enough wisdom to use what you possess responsibly. Look at your present life. How do you treat small opportunities? How do you manage small amounts of money? How do you treat people who cannot benefit you? How do you respond when nobody is watching? How faithfully do you complete simple responsibilities? These things matter. Your future is often hidden inside your current habits. If you cannot manage an hour, greater responsibility will not automatically teach you time management. If you cannot control your emotions, greater influence will not automatically give you emotional maturity. If you cannot keep your word when the stakes are small, greater opportunities may expose that weakness on a much larger scale. Therefore, preparation is not punishment. Preparation is protection. Sometimes God allows a delay because arriving too early would expose you to something you are not ready to handle. A door can be good and still open at the wrong time. An opportunity can be genuine and still require preparation. A blessing can be real and still become dangerous when carried by an immature person. So stop looking at delay as rejection. Sometimes delay is development. Sometimes silence is training. Sometimes obscurity is where your greatest lessons are learned. And sometimes the person you become while waiting is more valuable than the thing you were waiting to receive. Your blessing is not merely what comes into your hands. Your blessing is also what happens inside your mind, your character, your discipline, and your vision. Before the increase arrives, prepare yourself. Because when opportunity finally knocks, you should not need to become ready. You should already be ready. There is something you must understand about becoming prosperous. Asterisk, your greatest wealth may begin with an idea before it ever becomes money. Ask, many people spend their lives waiting for someone to rescue them financially. They wait for a promotion, a miracle check, a wealthy connection, or one extraordinary opportunity to change everything. But what if the answer begins differently? What if the resource you need is already connected to something you have been given? Your ability, your creativity, your experience, your knowledge, your problem-solving capacity, your willingness to serve. Inside every person are possibilities that can become valuable when developed and directed. Think about a simple story. A person notices that busy parents in the neighborhood struggle to find reliable help with everyday tasks. Instead of simply complaining about the problem, this person begins helping a few families. They learn what people need. They improve their service. They build trust. Eventually, what started as a small solution becomes a business. The opportunity was hidden inside a problem. This is how many forms of prosperity begin. Someone sees what everybody else ignores. Someone solves what everybody else complains about. Someone serves where everybody else is unwilling to serve. Someone develops a skill while others are wasting time. You must train yourself to see differently. Stop asking only, what can I get? Start asking, what problem can I solve? Stop asking, who will help me? Start asking, what can I develop? Stop asking, why don't I have more? Start asking, what am I doing with what I already have? That shift can transform your entire life. You may not control your starting point, but you can influence your preparation. You may not control what happened yesterday, but you can decide what you learn from it. You may not control who believes in you, but you can decide whether you believe enough in your assignment to keep developing it. And never confuse humility with small thinking. You can be humble and still think expansively. You can serve people and still build wealth. You can honor God and still desire excellence. You can be generous without becoming financially careless. You can pursue abundance without worshiping money. Money is a tool. It can build schools, support families, create businesses, fund missions, employ people, solve problems, and provide opportunities. But money should serve purpose, not replace purpose. So if you desire increase your capacity. Read, learn, practice, build, save, invest in yourself, develop relationships based on value and integrity. Become the person who can take a small opportunity and turn it into meaningful impact. The question is not simply, when will I become rich? The deeper question is, who must I become so that wealth will not destroy my purpose? That is the question that prepares you for lasting abundance. Have you noticed that some of the greatest transformations in life begin when nobody is watching? The world celebrates the harvest, but it rarely celebrates the roots. People notice the successful business, but they do not see the years of learning. They notice the confident speaker, but they do not see the thousands of hours spent studying and practicing. They notice the financial success, but they do not see the sacrifices, mistakes, discipline, failures, and decisions that came before it. Never envy someone's harvest when you have not witnessed their planting. This is especially important when you feel behind. You look around and see people buying homes, building companies, traveling, gaining influence, and achieving goals while you are still trying to figure out your next step. Comparison whispers, you are late, but purpose says, you are being prepared. Your timeline does not have to look like somebody else's timeline. One person's chapter 5 may look better than your chapter 2, but that does not mean your story is finished. You must learn to respect your process. There is a difference between being delayed and being prepared. Being delayed means circumstances are stopping you from moving. Being prepared means something inside you is being developed before movement begins. Ask yourself what this season is teaching you. Maybe it is teaching patience. Maybe it is teaching financial discipline. Maybe it is teaching you how to communicate. Maybe it is teaching you how to recognize unhealthy relationships. Maybe it is teaching you how to manage disappointment without abandoning your vision. Maybe it is teaching you that your identity cannot depend on applause. These lessons are valuable. A person who learns them becomes difficult to destroy, because when money disappears, they still have wisdom. When popularity disappears, they still have character. When an opportunity closes, they can create another path. When people walk away, they can continue building. That is real strength. Do not build your life around temporary applause. Build it around permanent principles. Be honest when dishonesty appears profitable. Be disciplined when laziness feels easier. Keep learning when you think you already know enough. Keep serving when recognition does not come. Keep improving when nobody notices. The world may not reward your preparation immediately, but preparation changes your ability to recognize and handle opportunity. And when your moment arrives, you will not need to pretend to be ready. You will have evidence inside you. You will have skills. You will have wisdom. You will have endurance. You will have judgment. You will have experience. You will have a stronger mind. So when you see someone else succeeding, do not become bitter. Study them, learn from them, celebrate what is good. Then return to your assignment. Your journey is not a competition against another person's clock. You are responsible for becoming everything you were designed to become. And sometimes the greatest blessing is not arriving quickly. Sometimes the greatest blessing is becoming ready before it arrives. There comes a moment when you must stop thinking like someone who is waiting to be rescued and start thinking like someone who has been entrusted with responsibility. Asterisk. You were not created merely to survive. You were created to contribute. Haskin becomes. Your goal cannot be simply, how do I get enough for myself? You must eventually ask, how can what I receive become a blessing to others? This is where prosperity becomes deeper than possessions. Imagine a person who suddenly receives enormous wealth but has no vision. They buy everything they once desired, but after the excitement disappears, emptiness remains. Now imagine another person receiving the same resources with a clear purpose. They build something. They create employment. They support their family. They help people develop skills. They invest in meaningful projects. They use resources to solve problems. The difference is not money. The difference is purpose. If your only reason for wanting wealth is to prove people wrong, wealth will never satisfy you. If your only reason for wanting success is to make people jealous, success will eventually become exhausting. If your only reason for wanting influence is attention, attention will become your prison. But when resources become connected to purpose, something changes. You stop asking, how much can I accumulate? You start asking, how much impact can I create? This is why you must clarify your vision. What do you want to build? Who do you want to serve? What problem do you want to solve? What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Without answers, more resources can simply create more confusion. So write your vision down. Make it clear. Then identify the skills required to accomplish it. If your vision requires communication, improve your communication. If it requires leadership, study leadership. If it requires business knowledge, learn business. If it requires financial understanding, study finances. If it requires technology, learn technology. Do not pray for a destination while refusing to develop the skills needed to reach it. Your prayers and your preparation should work together. You cannot expect a harvest from seeds you refuse to plant. You cannot expect financial growth while refusing to learn financial discipline. You cannot expect leadership while avoiding responsibility. You cannot expect influence while refusing to serve. The blessing is not just what you receive. The blessing includes the ability to become useful. And usefulness creates opportunities. People remember those who solve problems. Organizations value those who produce results. Communities need people who bring solutions. Families need people who think beyond themselves. So become valuable, become dependable, become teachable, become disciplined, become excellent. Do not chase money blindly. Build capacity, create value, serve people, and protect your integrity. Then if resources increase, you will know what to do with them. Your goal is not simply to become richer. Your goal is to become wiser, stronger, more useful, and more impactful as your resources increase. That is prosperity with purpose. Let me tell you something that many people learn too late. Asterisk, not every open door is your door. Just because an opportunity makes you money does not mean it belongs in your life. Just because everyone is doing something does not mean you should do it. Just because an offer looks attractive does not mean it is aligned with your purpose. Discernment is part of prosperity. A person can make money and still lose peace. A person can gain popularity and lose character. A person can become wealthy and lose relationships. A person can achieve success and discover that the success was built around the wrong definition of life. So do not measure blessing only by financial increase. Ask what the opportunity will require from you. Will it cost your integrity? Will it destroy your family? Will it consume all your time? Will it pull you away from your values? Will it require you to become someone you do not respect? If the price is your identity, the opportunity is too expensive. This is why wisdom must accompany ambition. Ambition says, I want more. Wisdom asks, more of what? Ambition says, I want to move faster. Wisdom asks, where are we going? Ambition says, I want greater influence. Wisdom asks, what will you do with that influence? You need both. There is nothing wrong with desiring financial improvement. There is nothing wrong with wanting a better life for your family. There is nothing wrong with building a successful business or pursuing excellence. But your desire must remain under control. Never allow what you want to possess to begin possessing you. Money should remain your servant. Success should remain your tool. Influence should remain your responsibility. And your identity should remain deeper than all three. Now consider your daily decisions. Are you spending more time consuming than creating? Are you complaining more than learning? Are you waiting for motivation instead of developing discipline? Are you constantly talking about what you will do without actually doing it? You cannot build a new future with old habits. At some point, you must become serious. Wake up with intention. Plan your day. Protect your attention. Study something useful. Practice a valuable skill. Control unnecessary spending. Avoid destructive relationships. Finish what you start. Keep your promises. Take responsibility. These ordinary decisions create extraordinary outcomes over time. Do not wait for a dramatic moment to transform your life. Transformation usually begins with ordinary obedience, repeated consistently. One disciplined morning, one wise financial decision, one difficult conversation, 1 hour of learning, one courageous application, one small business idea, one meaningful relationship, one refusal to quit, then another, then another. Eventually, what looked insignificant becomes momentum, and momentum can change a life. So when the next door opens, do not merely ask, can I enter? Ask, should I enter? Then listen carefully, think wisely, and move with courage. Because prosperity without discernment can become destruction. But prosperity guided by wisdom can become influence, freedom, generosity, and lasting impact. There is another enemy you must defeat before you can fully step into greater abundance, the belief that you are not capable. Some people have been disappointed so many times that disappointment became their identity. They tried something. It failed. They tried again. Someone criticized them. They attempted another opportunity. Someone laughed. Eventually, they stopped trying, not because they lacked ability, but because they became afraid of another disappointment. Do not let yesterday's failure become tomorrow's identity. Failure is an event. It is not your name. You may have made financial mistakes. You may have chosen the wrong business. You may have trusted the wrong person. You may have wasted time. You may have missed opportunities. You may have made decisions you deeply regret. Learn from them, but do not build a permanent home inside your mistakes. A wise person asks, "What did this teach me?" A defeated person asks, "Why does this always happen to me?" The first question creates growth. The second creates paralysis. You must learn to convert pain into wisdom. If you lost money, study why. If you trusted someone who betrayed you, learn discernment without becoming bitter. If your business failed, analyze the numbers. If an opportunity disappeared, examine what you could have done differently. Do not waste pain. Pain can become a teacher when you refuse to let it become your identity. And remember this, becoming prosperous does not mean never experiencing failure. It means developing the resilience to recover, learn, adapt, and continue. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet are not people who avoided storms. They are people who learned how to stand during storms. They learned how to rebuild. They learned how to begin again. They learned how to make wiser decisions. They learned how to keep moving without pretending everything was easy. That is the kind of person you must become. Because when greater opportunities arrive, challenges will arrive with them. More responsibility means more decisions. More influence means more criticism. More resources mean more management. More visibility means more pressure. Therefore, you need inner strength. Do not only pray for a larger platform. Prepare your character for greater pressure. Do not only ask for more money. Learn how to manage what you have. Do not only ask for recognition. Learn how to remain humble when recognition comes. Do not only ask for success. Develop the emotional maturity to survive success. Your future requires more than desire. It requires capacity, and capacity can be developed. Read more. Think deeper. Practice consistently. Ask better questions. Find mentors. Study people who have built what you want to build. Learn from their mistakes. Develop your craft. Protect your mind. Protect your time. Protect your character. You are not disqualified because you have failed. You are disqualified only when you decide to stop learning. Stand up again. Begin again. Build again. Your past may explain where you started, but it does not have the authority to determine where you finish. The next chapter can be different, and it begins when you decide to become different. Now I want you to look beyond money and understand a deeper principle. True abundance begins when you stop living from fear and start living from purpose. Fear tells you to protect everything. Purpose teaches you what is worth protecting. Fear says, do not take any risks. Wisdom says, take calculated risks. Fear says, stay where you are because it is familiar. Purpose says, grow because you were created for more. Fear says, what if you fail? Purpose asks, what if you succeed? You cannot build an extraordinary future while allowing fear to make every decision. But courage does not mean being reckless. Courage means moving forward with wisdom despite uncertainty. You may not know exactly how everything will happen. You may not have all the money. You may not have all the connections. You may not have all the experience. But you can begin with what you have. Start where you are. Use what you know. Learn what you do not know. Ask for help when necessary. Improve as you go. Many people wait for perfect conditions, but perfect conditions rarely arrive. There will always be something missing. You will always have another reason to delay. The question is whether you will allow those reasons to control your life. Think about someone who wants to start a business but keeps waiting until they have more money. Another person begins with a small service, learns from customers, reinvests the profits, improves the product, and slowly grows. Who has more potential? Not necessarily the person with more money. The person who takes action and learns may eventually become the one with greater capacity. Action creates information. You discover what works by doing. You discover what fails by testing. You discover what people need by listening. You discover your strengths by serving. You discover your weaknesses by attempting difficult things, so stop waiting to feel completely confident. Confidence often comes after action, not before it. Take one step, then another. Make the phone call, send the proposal, study the skill, create the product, apply for the opportunity, start saving, pay attention to your spending, build the relationship, ask the question, learn the lesson, then keep moving. Your life can change through a series of small, courageous decisions. And when you begin to see progress, do not become arrogant. Become grateful. Remember where you started. Remember the people who helped you. Remember the lessons from difficult seasons. Remember that resources create responsibility. If you receive more, manage more wisely. If you influence more, serve more deeply. If you earn more, give more intentionally. If you know more, teach more generously. The purpose of increase is not merely accumulation, it is expansion of impact. So prepare yourself for increase, but do not worship increase. Ask for enough wisdom to carry whatever comes. Ask for enough character to remain grounded. Ask for enough courage to obey your purpose. And ask for enough discernment to recognize the difference between an opportunity and a distraction. That is how you prepare for abundance without losing yourself inside it. You're approaching a point where your thinking must change. You cannot keep asking for a new life while defending the habits that created the old one. If you want different results, you must become willing to make different decisions. That does not mean becoming perfect. It means becoming intentional. Look at your life honestly. Where is your time going? Where is your money going? Where is your attention going? Who has access to your mind? What voices are shaping your beliefs? What habits are consuming your potential? You cannot build wealth while constantly feeding distraction. You cannot build discipline while constantly negotiating with yourself. You cannot build a strong future while spending every day reacting to whatever appears in front of you. At some point, you need a plan. Create priorities. Decide what matters. Protect your mornings, set goals, break those goals into actions, track your progress, review your mistakes, adjust your strategy, keep going. This may sound simple, but simple does not mean easy. The most powerful transformations often come from ordinary disciplines practiced for a long time. Imagine someone who saves a little money every month. At first, the amount looks insignificant. But consistency changes the equation. Imagine someone who studies 1 hour every day. 1 hour seems small, but after a year, hundreds of hours of learning have accumulated. Imagine someone who improves one skill every day. Eventually, they become highly competent. Imagine someone who strengthens one relationship through honesty and service every day. Eventually, trust becomes a powerful asset. This is the principle of accumulation. Small things become large when repeated consistently. Do not underestimate what you can build over time. Your future may not change dramatically tomorrow, but your direction can change tomorrow. And direction matters. If you change direction, eventually you change destination. That means today matters. Your next decision matters. Your next habit matters. Your next conversation matters. Your next financial choice matters. Your next hour matters. Stop waiting for a magical moment. Create momentum. And as you build, remember generosity. Do not become so obsessed with becoming rich that you become poor in relationships, compassion, gratitude, and character. What good is financial abundance if your heart becomes empty? What good is a large house if there is no peace inside it? What good is public success if your private life is collapsing? You need balance. Build wealth, but build wisdom. Build influence, but build character. Build networks, but build trust. Build businesses, but build people. Build your future, but protect your soul. And when you finally receive more, remember that the greatest question will not be, how much did I get? It will be, what did I do with what I received? That question separates accumulation from stewardship. So prepare now, learn now, save now, build now, serve now, improve now, because the person you become during preparation will determine what happens when opportunity arrives. Do not merely ask for a blessing, become trustworthy with one. Do not merely ask for increase, become capable of managing it. Do not merely ask for success, become the kind of person who can use success without being consumed by it. Now listen closely, because this is where everything comes together. Your blessing is not simply something that falls into your lap. Your blessing may come through responsibility. It may come through an idea. It may come through a relationship. It may come through a relationship. It may come through a skill you develop. It may come through a problem you learn to solve. It may come through an opportunity you almost ignored. It may come through a season that forced you to become stronger. That means you must stop looking only for dramatic miracles. Sometimes the miracle is hidden inside an ordinary assignment. The job you consider small may teach you skills that prepare you for something larger. The difficult person may teach you patience. The disappointing experience may teach you discernment. The financial struggle may teach you discipline. The failed attempt may teach you strategy. The lonely season may teach you self-reliance and reflection. Nothing has to be wasted. You can learn from everything, but learning requires humility. You must be willing to admit that you do not know everything. You must be willing to change your methods. You must be willing to accept correction. You must be willing to accept correction. You must be willing to start at the beginning. Pride says, "I already know." Wisdom says, "Teach me." Pride refuses help. Wisdom recognizes valuable guidance. Pride hides mistakes. Wisdom examines them. Pride wants instant results. Wisdom understands process. Become wise, because if increase comes before wisdom, increase can become dangerous. Imagine receiving a powerful vehicle without knowing how to control it. The problem is not the vehicle. The problem is the lack of preparation. In the same way, greater resources require greater responsibility. So prepare your mind, prepare your habits, prepare your finances, prepare your finances, prepare your relationships, prepare your character, prepare your vision, prepare your skills, prepare your heart. And when you see progress, do not become distracted by the size of someone else's blessing. Your assignment is yours. Your timing is yours. Your journey is yours. You are not required to become another person. You are required to become the strongest, wisest, most disciplined version of yourself. Do not chase somebody else's definition of success. Define success according to purpose. Maybe success means building a company. Maybe it means becoming financially independent. Maybe it means creating opportunities for others. Maybe it means providing a secure future for your family. Maybe it means using your gifts to serve a community. Whatever your assignment is, take it seriously, because purpose gives direction to prosperity, and prosperity without direction becomes waste. So if you believe greater days are ahead, do not sit passively waiting. Get ready, read, plan, work, learn, save, build, serve, give, improve, pray, and move. Your blessing may not arrive in the form you expected. It may look like a responsibility. It may look like a small beginning. It may look like an uncomfortable opportunity. But if it aligns with your purpose, do not despise it because it looks small. Great things often begin quietly. The question is not whether your future can become greater. The question is whether you are willing to become greater in capacity, character, and wisdom. Prepare yourself. Your next level requires a new version of you. So now I want you to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not next month. Today, decide that you will no longer measure your future by your present circumstances. Decide that temporary limitation will not become permanent thinking. Decide that failure will become education. Decide that delay will become preparation. Decide that opportunity will meet discipline. Decide that increase will meet wisdom. Decide that success will meet humility. And decide that wealth will serve purpose instead of becoming your master. You may not know exactly what the future holds. None of us does. But you can decide what kind of person you will become while walking toward it. Become disciplined. Become teachable. Become courageous. Become patient. Become responsible. Become excellent. Become generous. Become focused. become valuable, and above all, become intentional. If you have been waiting for permission to begin, consider this your reminder. You do not need perfect conditions to take the next responsible step. Start with what is available. If you have an idea, write it down. If you have a skill, develop it. If you have a problem you can solve, study it. If you have little money, learn how to manage little money. If you have debt, create a plan. If you lack knowledge, learn. If you lack connections, serve people and build trustworthy relationships. If you have failed, analyze the failure and begin again. Do not allow embarrassment to become your prison. You are allowed to start small. You are allowed to learn slowly. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to grow. But do not remain comfortable with remaining the same. Your future deserves your participation. You cannot expect a harvest from a field you refuse to cultivate. You cannot expect financial growth while refusing financial discipline. You cannot expect influence while refusing responsibility. You cannot expect greater opportunities while neglecting the opportunities already in your hands. Use what you have, improve what you can, learn what you need, then keep moving. And when the increase comes, remember the person you were before it arrived. Remember the nights when you questioned everything. Remember the seasons when nobody believed in you. Remember the lessons you learned when resources were limited. Remember that your value was never determined by your bank balance. Money can increase your options, but it cannot define your worth. Your character defines how you carry your options. Your purpose defines where you take them. Your wisdom defines how you use them. So yes, believe that greater things can happen. Believe that your life can improve. Believe that your work can produce fruit. Believe that opportunities can appear. Believe that your skills can create value. Believe that your future can be different. But do not merely believe. Prepare. Because faith without preparation can become wishful thinking. Your next chapter requires action. And your action begins with one decision. I will become ready for what I have been asking for. Make that decision today. Then build accordingly. You have heard the message, but now the real work begins. Because inspiration without action is only temporary emotion. You can feel motivated today and return to the same habits tomorrow. You can become excited about your future and still refuse to prepare for it. You can talk about abundance and remain financially irresponsible. You can talk about purpose and continue wasting your time. You can talk about success and refuse discipline. So do not let this moment become another moment that made you feel good but changed nothing. Asterisk, let this be the moment your behavior changes. Asterisk, take your vision seriously. Take your time seriously. Take your money seriously. Take your relationships seriously. Take your skills seriously. Take your future seriously. If you want greater financial capacity, learn how money works. If you want greater influence, learn how people think. If you want to build something, learn how to build. If you want to lead, learn how to serve. If you want freedom, develop discipline. If you want opportunity, develop value. If you want lasting success, develop character. And remember, becoming prosperous is not a race against everyone around you. It is a responsibility to become useful with what you have been given. Do not compare your beginning to somebody else's middle. Do not become discouraged because someone else reached a milestone before you. Your assignment does not expire because someone else succeeded. There is still work for you to do. There are still skills for you to develop. There are still people you can help. There are still problems you can solve. There are still ideas you can explore. There are still opportunities you have not recognized. But you must be awake enough to see them, focused enough to pursue them, disciplined enough to develop them, wise enough to protect them, humble enough to keep learning, and courageous enough to keep moving when the results are slow. Maybe you are closer than you think. Maybe the season you called waiting was actually preparation. Maybe the door you thought was closed was protecting you from the wrong destination. Maybe the failure you hated was teaching you what success requires. Maybe the small beginning you overlooked is carrying the seed of something much larger. Do not dismiss your current season. Study it, learn from it, use it, build in it, and when your opportunity comes, walk into it prepared. Do not let sudden increase overwhelm you because you refuse to prepare during the quiet season. Let your growth be intentional. Let your success be responsible. Let your prosperity have purpose. Let your resources create impact. Let your influence serve people. Let your life become evidence that preparation matters. And if you are believing for greater financial blessing, remember this: do not chase money. Build capacity, create value, solve problems, serve people, protect your integrity, manage what you have, keep learning, keep building, keep moving. Your future is not guaranteed by positive thinking. It is shaped by purposeful decisions repeated consistently. So, stand up, look forward, take the next step, and do not wait for your blessing to make you ready. Asterisk, become ready now. Asterisk, become ready now. You will not ask whether you can handle it. You will not ask whether you can handle it. You will already know. And when the next door opens, walk through it with wisdom, courage, gratitude, and purpose. Your story is not over. Your preparation is not wasted. Your future is still being built. Now, go build it.